Question everything. Hey everyone, Dave here. Hope all is well with everyone. Wanted to make a quick video response to a story that I heard coming out of California earlier today with regards to some legislation that I find just both comical and fascinating both at the same time. You know, it never ceases to amaze me what some of these legislative bodies will pass, and we kind of went through it last year with some of these bodies passing, defund the police legislation. What could possibly go wrong? Well, of course, we now know what could possibly go wrong. The crime rate's going to go skyrocketing up. Well, this legislation is no different. In case you don't know, the California legislation is getting ready to pass legislation that will make it illegal for individuals to use gas-powered yard equipment. What does that mean? Well, basically, if you're a homeowner that uses a gas-powered riding lawnmower, push mower, weed eater, leaf blower, chainsaw, whatever the case may be, to maintain your property, it will be illegal for you to use that in the future. Now, I know a lot of homeowners that over the years have switched over to electrical equipment to perform maintenance on their property, but the majority of homeowners that I know have not, and of course they're going to be now required to do that. But they're not even the ones that are mainly affected by this new law. The ones that are really going to be affected by this new law are going to be small businesses such as landscaping companies and or property maintenance companies who depend on those gas-powered equipment to perform their services. They're basically going to have to replace all of their equipment in one fell swoop. Now, electrical-based equipment isn't necessarily cheap, and it's not necessarily inexpensive to maintain. And to ask a small business to swallow that pill all at once is kind of asking a lot. Now you may be saying to yourself, well, I don't really care because, I don't own property, so I don't have any property to maintain. Well, it does affect you as well. We all know that and have heard stories coming out of California for years that, they suffer brownouts. And brownouts are caused because the electrical production doesn't meet the demand on the power grid. Now, in terms of California, not only are they, things with the electric cars that are going to be on the power grid, with all these yard equipment being on the power grid as well. Whether you use it or not, get ready for your brownouts to be longer in duration and more frequent as well. Now you might be thinking, well, I've solved that problem. I got a home generator, and well, guess what? No, that's not going to be a solution either, because guess what else is included in that legislation? Yep, you guessed it, gas-powered home generators. Yeah, those will be illegal as well. Again, I say, what could possibly go wrong? Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not against green technology and, wind and solar power sources and things of that nature, but it's simply not feasible in certain locations, especially when you're going to make a sweeping change across an entire state. Now, in terms of rural locales, sure, that technology is feasible and viable simply because of the demand. A single home can easily power itself on those energy sources. Now you might be saying, well, the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine. Well, your demand is so low if it's just your one household that those technologies could not only power your house, it could also, be used to charge a battery for use when those sources aren't available. So again, in rural areas, that's great. However, in high density population and metropolitan areas, it's just not feasible. Can you imagine trying to power, cities like Los Angeles and or San Francisco on wind and solar power alone? What could possibly go wrong? What's basically happening here is the legislature is getting ahead of the technology, and I get it. Again, I'm not against the green technologies, but in this particular case, they're going about this the wrong way. That's just my opinion. Now, again, I don't know how this legislation is going to affect like recreational vehicles such as quad fours or dirt bikes or your motor for your boats or whatever the case may be. If you're in California, you may want to actually look into that. I live in Virginia, so this law isn't going to affect me whatsoever, but I would be curious in knowing if anybody in California happens to see this video, whether or not this is being reported on your local news. Because it basically boils down to, the government is actually supposed to be of the people, by the people, and for the people. And if you're not being advised or informed of what the government is doing, don't be surprised when the government actually makes a decision that ends up steamrolling you in the end. Because at that point, complaining about it is too late and beyond the fact. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Feel free to comment down below, and other than that, man, be good, stay safe, peace, love, soul, rock and roll.